Welcome back here to Fox 8 News in the Morning. So social media, it is intended to be a positive online outlet, but there are many studies that are showing it can have a negative effect, especially for teenage girls. We have Dr. Jessica Castonguay, the Director of Eating Disorder Programs, and dietitian Lindsay Bailey joining us from Akron Children's Hospital. And we have more now on the potential harm that this can cause your kids just by scrolling through. Thank you both for joining us this morning.
Good morning.
I was saying to them before, this is a topic that we could discuss for well over an hour. But there are important points that hopefully if parents are watching, they can just stop what they're doing and listen in on this. So the Wall Street Journal was one of the most recent studies that came out showing these Facebook researchers are finding it's really harmful to young girls. What are the statistics? What are you seeing in your patients? How often does that play a role in the patients you're helping with eating disorders?
I think it plays a role 100% of the time. Teenagers are impressionable. They're learning who they are, and what they see impacts them. And what is out there on social media, particularly things like Instagram, are ideals that just aren't acceptable for every body shape and size.
I can't even imagine. I know at that point in time too, their brains are still developing. I mean, this is still such a growing period in their lives. So that in itself, to age, I know as an adult sometimes when I see things, how it even still affects me. So at that age, how important is it to try to curb this situation, to keep them from staying off of this as much as possible, I'm guessing?
So there are guidelines for media use to kind of have media-free zones. Parents should be aware of what their kids are doing and really just stay in contact with them and recognize when things are changing.
Lindsay, I mean, when you are seeing children, and it's not just girls too, there are boys that go through this as well. What are tips that you're giving to parents? I mean, to help them and these young minds. I mean, when it comes to eating, what should they be eating a day?
Great question. So, you know, influencers are influencing our patients, right? So I think what we need to know is influencers don't always have a credential behind their name, and the information that is getting out there might not be factual. So some of the signs that I would talk to parents about would be, again, your teenager is growing. A lot of times our teenagers are active in sports. These patients need regular meals and regular snacks. So I would be concerned if I'm hearing that breakfast is getting skipped, potentially not eating lunch at school, taking smaller portions at dinner time, really not gravitating and grabbing snacks like we used to, and any type of obsessions or comments on food and exercise that are kind of out of the norm are things that I talk to parents about.
What about even staying away from certain foods? Do you hear them saying, I don't want to eat any, no, I'm not eating that?
Absolutely is a warning sign. So if we're noticing that I want to cut this out or I want to cut that out, you know, carbohydrates is a really big one in today's society with some of the diets that exist. So trying to cut back on carbs, being really hyper-focused on fats, and monitoring how parents are making food and not wanting to eat the food that their parents are preparing. Those are some things that should, you know, perk up our ears as parents.
How do you find the balance? Because I feel like these younger generations too, they're really health conscious about things, and that can be a good thing in a way. So where is the balance of making sure you're eating healthy and yet not turning it into something that could be very detrimental?
I think the main point there is eating healthy is important, exercise is important, but when you take that health to a place where you begin to be dizzy, you begin to be tired and fatigued, you begin to become obsessed with how much you're getting in, then it becomes a problem and needs to be looked into, just to make sure that you are staying on the healthy side and not on the eating disorder side.
Now, when it comes to just the phones and looking at how can parents really adjust that? How should they be monitoring their children on social media?
So I think one of the easiest things to do is, again, media-free zones. No phones at the dinner table. Maybe there's a central charging station in the house so that you know the phones aren't there in the middle of the night. Interactive social media is safer than where you're just scrolling. And be involved. You know, ask your kids what they're looking at. Maybe be their friend or, you know, a contact on their social media, if they'll let you.
That's the hard part too, trying to balance how far can I get in there with them. But can it be good in any way, social media? Can it be, are there ways that this could be helpful?
Absolutely. There are influencers out there who are registered dietitians and are giving good information about how to stay healthy and how to stay well. It can allow you to be in contact with family and friends that are far away when you're isolated because of quarantine or because you're sick, you know. So there definitely are positives. We just have to really sort of curate what we want to see in our feed.
And how young are we seeing patients come in to see you both?
We've seen single digits.
Yes.
So less than 10.
So I know we have to go. Is there any last minute words that you would like to just, if parents, grandparents who are sitting here glued to the screen now watching this, just parting words on this topic because it is so serious and so important?
What do you think, Linz?
So, you know, weight loss at any age in a growing teenager or child is something to be concerned about. So no matter what your size or shape is, if we're seeing those types of things, I think it's important to keep an eye on and investigate further if there's any behaviors that can be harmful.
Yeah. And that can just be a call to your pediatrician, a call to our office, just to see, to check growth, to check any blood work if that's necessary, and to move forward from there.
I thank you both so much for joining us. Dr. Jessica Castigain, Lindsay Bailey, thank you again. Appreciate it.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Yeah.